3D Mario games. The last one they released was literally 8 years ago. Why, Nintendo? They have been a great staple to the Mario franchise, and without them, I really don't know where the series would be at right now. And recently, with the new Super Mario Galaxy movie releasing next year, people are already thinking Super Mario Galaxy 3 could actually be a real thing, but only time will tell. The only thing I can say is that if we ever get Galaxy 3, I'ma yell so incredibly loud the whole world is gonna hear my cries of joy. I'm not even kidding. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. We have gotten so many great games over the years, but I personally think people get hyped and excited for the most whenever a new 3D Mario game releases or is announced, as it brings something that 2D Mario games don't bring. And I do love me my 2D Mario games, but we have games such as Super Mario 64, which laid the foundation of 3D Mario games, and to that I say, thank you Nintendo for giving us this new form of Mario games we have never seen before. Although we don't speak of recent Nintendo, as it's a different kind of company compared to how they were before. Super Mario Sunshine, which I personally think is one of the best Mario games we have, is actually looked down upon. From what I've heard, people were complaining about the controls and how clunky and janky they felt. This game was not the most polished, but to be fair, it was the second 3D Mario game, and I feel like Nintendo probably did not expect to see this much love and praise for 64. I personally love Sunshine and the gimmicks it has, especially the water device you get to use, as I feel like it was something unique and it sucks we never got to see it or use it again. Next come the two best 3D Mario games in my opinion, and you may call me a glazer or anything, but I personally think both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were pure masterpieces. Both these games represented something so unique, especially Galaxy 1 to the franchise, and I think it was the fact that you can go to different galaxies and locations. We were presented many new power-ups that were very useful in every situation needed. Although it really sucks that the Red Star power-up was never brought back and we barely even got the chance to use it. As for Galaxy 2, I think I might prefer this game more by a tiny bit, as we got the homie Yoshi and the stages were a bit more lively compared to the first game. People loved these games and still do, especially with the recent Switch re-release. There are other games such as 3D Land, 3D World, Super Mario 64 DS, and Bowser's Fury, which I personally loved and were great. I would love to talk about each and every one of them, but this video would be like 2 hours long, so yeah, I'll probably just do a review on each game soon. But I did not forget about Super Mario Odyssey, the most recent installment of 3D Mario games. What's crazy to me is that it's been 8 years since that game released and we are yet to see any news about a new 3D Mario game. Super Mario Odyssey was a fantastic game in my eyes, to be honest, and I personally feel like they can make the same game but better. I personally love the kingdoms we saw, the customization, the open worldness type of vibe and aesthetic the game provided you, and a bunch more. I also love the fact that we were presented Cappy, the new companion that we had, and would take over different things such as cars, enemies, and much more. Now leaving those games aside and putting them in the past, what would make the next 3D Mario game perfect? That's where all of you guys, the viewers, come in and were a part of this video and said what you guys would like to see in a future 3D Mario game and how it could be a perfect game. So without further ado, let's read what you guys had to say. The first comment is by Saturn Lynx. An alternate timeline where instead of Sunshine, we got a Mario 64 2 of sorts. It would be a new era to explore at the beginning, new levels and bosses, but still keeping the core mechanics of Mario 64 alive and adding new or scraped moves and abilities. There would be a two-player mode where player 1 would control Mario and the other would control Luigi, possibly change between Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad like Mario 2, and enjoy the game with a buddy. Bosses would be really dynamic with two players attacking it at once. It's a topic I love discussing even with other games. The what ifs are really fun to talk about. Thank you Saturn Lynx, and I personally think this would be a great mechanic and mode for a future Mario game. The next comment is from Videos by Agello. If I'm saying it right, I can't say the first part of the name, so my bad and I'm very sorry. It will be a 3D Mario open world game called Mario Eclipse, aka Mario Galaxy 3, which many people are really hoping releases next year, considering the movie is coming out, with Wario and Waluigi being playable in new worlds. Bowser will take over the galaxies and Mario must save them. Honestly, this does not sound like a bad idea because I would love to see Wario and Waluigi be playable in a Mario game, although we did get that with Mario 64 DS, and you know, I personally enjoyed that game. Thank you for the comment, my boy. The next comment is from Tails9303. Super Mario 3D Land, that's a classic. Now, yes, I personally would love to see a remaster or at least 3D Land be ported to the Nintendo Switch, possibly Switch 2 I guess as well. But do I think it's ever gonna happen? Probably not, but only time will tell. But I personally love that game as well. Thank you for the comment, my boy. The next comment is from The Baseball Z. He says, a dedicated Waluigi game. Now for this, I could possibly see them not necessarily making a Waluigi standalone game because, you know, I don't think that's in their minds right now. But similar to the game of Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, I can definitely see them adding a Waluigi standalone game combined with another popular Mario game. Because I don't really think a Waluigi standalone type of game or own game would sell well, to be completely honest. And I would love to see that. I personally feel like Waluigi has not been getting treated well recently, so I really hope that one of these days he's at least a playable character in at least one of a recent Mario game. So once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. Next one is from William. I don't think that we're getting a true open world 3D Mario game on this console. Probably something more in the line of 3D World and Galaxy. Probably be announced around the time the movie comes out. Now this is something that I've seen people actually say, and I'm not gonna lie, I would be super down for this. I would love to see a game with 3D World, Galaxy, Odyssey all combined. I feel like that would probably be the best game if you ask me, just because of the fact that Galaxy has so many galaxies, locations you can go to, the amount of power-ups, the gimmicks, and the mechanics in the game just feel so well. Odyssey has so many great things to offer you. 3D World was just a fun experience overall. But yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I would probably like to see that type of game release. And he does have a point. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is releasing next year, and there have been many theories that the next game will possibly be Galaxy 3. And if it's not Galaxy 3, I feel like it's going to have a lot of inspiration from the previous Galaxy games. So once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. The next one is from Ella Button. An open world Mario game with the same level of skill of Breath of the Wild, but with a very large emphasis on platforming and polish of Odyssey. Power-ups would be in the game and would function like they do in 3D World. Collectibles would also be scattered around the map, coins, regional currency, power stars, and more. The bosses would also be like Frontiers, Titan Fights, which is a Sonic game in case you guys don't know. Same spectacle and hypeness, but still with the whimsy of Mario. The soundtrack would be a mix of Galaxy, Odyssey, and Mario Kart World styles. There would also be a jukebox like in Frontiers where you could listen to the past songs on the fly. Now this comment, I'm not gonna lie, and not to put any other comment to the side, but I feel like this is something that I would like to see as well. Literally the same exact thing that I was thinking. I personally would like to see an open world, like a fully open world Mario game similar to Breath of the Wild, in my own opinion, for a perfect Mario game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like mixing different franchises in the same video, but I mean, to kind of understand what he's saying, Sonic Frontiers was an open world-ish kind of type of game, but I personally would like to see what they did with Frontiers and bring it to the Mario games, but obviously make it a lot better because Sonic Frontiers, it did have a lot of flaws. I would love to see similar challenges, not necessarily the same as Sonic Frontiers, but make them a lot more interesting. Also, the open worldness needs to have a bunch of other things as well inside the actual open world. As you guys know, Sonic Frontiers was missing that little bit of charm, as there was just a bunch of different platforms in the middle of nowhere. As for the boss fights, I would personally love to see new villains and I guess possibly old ones reprise their role in this new Mario game. I would like to see the same spectacle like he said in this new Mario game, as I feel like that would just bring the hype levels to the max. And I feel like Odyssey, it did do something, I guess, in that specific sense, but not necessarily, as I would love to see Mario get some sort of power-up and go absolutely crazy against this boss fight that he's fighting. Pretty much make it into like a movie and just go crazy with everything that you can, Nintendo, please. So once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. Now the next comment, buckle in my boys because it's a pretty long one, is from Twin Bros Superstars. He says, Super Mario Ilad? I have no idea how you say that. A Mario Odyssey prequel. Now, he uses this word a little bit, so I'm going to just say the new Mario game or something, because I don't know how to say that word. But he says, this takes place right before the fight of King Bowser in the beginning of the game. Bowser wishes to marry Peach, as usual, and abducts her kingdom and chaos pursues. Mario was in his humble abode when he gets a letter of Princess Toadstool in dire need of rescue. Mario, of course, steps in to save her as the game transitions into a sandbox to an full-on open world. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm already liking how this sounds. Now this game is an open world platformer where you level up by collecting Power Stars, Grand Stars, circa Donkey Kong Bonanza, and you unlock new moves to reach certain parts of the area and unlock bosses. There's also secret rooms where you can unlock statues to pose around the open world as you place them in terrain. You can also build weapons, tanks, cars, and planes inspired by Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. By collecting nuts and bolts, the weapon will further expand your moves without taking away the platforming formula. Bro, just imagine seeing Mario in a whole tank. Yeah, buddy, I think it's GG's at that point for you, buddy. Or even Mario holding a gun. Bro, okay, alright, let's move on. There's also a multiplayer mode, local and online respectively, where it's basically a Mario Fortnite. You play as different colored Mario robots called Dronios and battle to the death. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, this was so unique, buddy. Like, you actually came up with like an actual storyline. My man came up with like new power-ups. My man gave him weapons, tanks, like planes, bro. Like, what's going on in this game? This man already making the next Mario game and I already want to play it. It's like, what is this? Alright, but we gotta be realistic here, buddy. As much as I would love to see this actually happen, I just don't think the actual tanks and cars and all that type of stuff, or even a gun, is actually going to happen. But I can definitely see them copying the same formula they gave Donkey Kong Bonanza, giving him similar skill trees and all that type of stuff where you can unlock different things. Now, when it comes to the actual weapons part of it, buddy, I don't think they're gonna do that, but I really do think that they can possibly give him new power-ups, maybe increase some stats for the power-ups or stuff like that. I have no idea what they could possibly do with that, but make him pretty much stronger. The only two ones I can definitely see happening here are probably planes and cars, but other than that, just imagine seeing Mario with a gun before GTA 6. That's gonna be the new meme right there, buddy. Now for this specific thing that you have going on here in the beginning of the game, I personally would love to see this as it kind of reminds me of Super Mario 64. Although I am getting kind of tired of the saving Princess Peach type of story they keep giving us. Like, bro, give us something new, please. But other than that, I mean, I also like the multiplayer thing that you got going on over here as a Mario Fortnite. That's pretty unique. And overall, sounds like a pretty cool idea and sounds like a very fun time to play with friends. So once again, I'm overall enjoying every single comment here and the uniqueness and creativity every single one of you guys have presented so far. So thank you for that. And thank you for the comment, my boy. Now, the next comment is from Soos Ramirez. I don't know. Once again, forgive me, my boy. But he says, honestly, everything Mario Odyssey did, I want more of that. And this I can definitely agree on to a certain extent. I just wasn't a fan of the Power Moons. I just don't like the fact that you gotta keep collecting them all the time. I just want to be free, maybe do some challenges or something, but not the Power Moons all the time. I just wasn't a fan of you going to look for something and then boom, you can go to the next kingdom. I just want to go straight on to the next kingdom. That's why I want a fully open world Mario game. Similar to Breath of the Wild. I just want to hop on Yoshi, ride that man, and go to the next location I want to. I just don't want to actually do work for going to the next kingdom. Like, I understand that's the whole point of the Mario games, but if this was fully open world like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like people would be much more appreciative towards that. So once again, thank you for the comment, my boy, and once again, I love Super Mario Odyssey, probably my favorite 3D Mario game, besides obviously Galaxies. Now the next comment is from Not a Sonic Channel. He says, pretty much Mario Sunshine's movement and locations with 64 structure and polish. Instead of needing to beat Mission 7 in every world, if you could decide which shines to collect to get to Bowser, it would be a million times better. Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like what I was saying earlier about the Power Moons. If only you could just go straight to the next boss fight, next world or something, it would just be a ton of fun and a million times better, like he says, as I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again for each thing and each boss I would need to go to. From every single 3D Mario game, I personally think 3D World, 3D Land, and possibly the Galaxy games might have done it the best, as you don't necessarily have to go crazy looking for every single thing to go to the next boss, the next area. So yeah, if they remove a lot of things, such as you not having to look for a specific shine, or power moons or anything like that, that would be a lot better for the gaming community and overall many Mario and Nintendo fans. And although I think the only game that kind of does it right would probably be Donkey Kong Bonanza, as it's not necessarily as tedious as other games. But yeah man, thank you for my boy, not on a Sonic channel, I appreciate that. The next comment is from my boy Ultra Velocity. Okay, I'd have a Sunshine type of open world and have Galaxy type stages, but are somewhat open like Mario 64. Yeah, I like where this is going. I'd have multiple power-ups and levels to get to different areas like Ice Flower in one section to get to a different star, or a propeller suit. Yes, I want this in 3D to get to a star in the sky. Yes, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see that as well. Ever since the Wii of the new Super Mario Bros. Series, people, including myself, have been begging for this specific power-up to return, but I guess they just forgot about it, or they just don't care. So basically, how like in Mario 64, where you can choose exactly what you want to do, and wherever you have to go has its own little story, kind of like a side quest. Also add a super speed power up so we can run on water and on walls. Dude, this already sounds great, I'm not gonna lie. This guy included every single game possible. He included the Galaxy games, Mario 64, and Sunshine. I would definitely agree with this. Like, I definitely would like to see a bunch more power-ups be added into the game and not just be limited. I feel like the next Mario game should include a bunch more power-ups, like anyone and probably every single one that we have received already for different type of missions and just overall for the open world section of the game. Of course, they can add in new power-ups and a bunch of new gimmicks and mechanics, but I personally feel like a bunch of people would love to see OG power-ups return. Power-ups such as the blue shell from New Super Mario Bros. DS, we have the bee mushroom from Super Mario Galaxy, and of course the red star power-up, which many people feel like that power-up was abandoned, and I couldn't agree more. But yeah man, I once again appreciate this comment, and I would definitely love to see this actually happen in a Mario game. The next comment is from my boy Sony Urbina. I hope I said your name right, my boy. It's a quiet day in the Mushroom Kingdom, but out of nowhere a ring pops up. A blue spiky figure is seen. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, we're going here, okay. Sonic then says, "Come on Mario, we gotta smash bros together." This would honestly be cinema. Alright, this could possibly be for the trolls, but I would be down seeing a crossover between Mario and Sonic. I feel like the best way to handle a crossover would just be, I guess, having each character from different series. For example, bring in Link from Zelda, bring in Kirby into the open world, maybe make them have little cameos, even Sonic as well, I guess might as well, where you could possibly do little missions with them, and I guess overall that would be a unique thing to the game, and I would love to see that. I just remember being a kid and playing the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, like the series, and oh boy, I had a blast and a ton of fun playing those games, so I would love to just see Sonic being in a Mario game or Mario being in a Sonic game. That would probably just be cinema for a lot of people. Once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. The next comment is from Sword Kaleburn, a Sonic and Mario fighting game crossover. Okay, now this specific comment doesn't have nothing to do with 3D Mario games, but I feel like this would be one of the best things to ever happen in the gaming community if you ask me. Just seeing two of the most iconic characters go at it together would possibly be kind of similar to Marvel vs. Capcom. You have different characters from different series all around the entire world and different franchises, and I feel like that game worked out pretty well as it's one of the most loved fighting games across the entire world. So just bringing in Sonic and Mario together would probably break the internet. I'm not gonna lie, people would just be going crazy about a fighting game. Possibly a 2D fighting game if you ask me, with special animations. But yeah, once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. The next one we have is from Jack Sonic. He says, basically you would go to 8 different worlds, some from older games and some new, but with new actual level designs. You can go in whatever order you want, and some examples are Peach's Castle from Super Mario 64, the place from Sunshine, Comet Observatory, and some of them would have a new gimmick, which of course would be these specific ones, and once you beat the levels in the world, you fight a Koopaling and get to keep the gimmick in the other worlds. Once you do all that, you fight Bowser Jr., do 8 more worlds, then fight Bowser, and then it's just post-game, which could just have some bonus levels, challenges, and stuff like that. I never actually thought about this, but this actually sounds pretty cool, and I would love to go back and play some of the classics, even though they've kinda done that in recent Mario games and previous ones as well. Of course, I would like to see them bring back old things that we had in the games, such as the actual Flood, Cappy, Spin Move, and all those other things that we don't have anymore. For example, it would be really cool seeing some of the Galaxy things and mechanics from that game be ported into the recent next installment of the 3D Mario games. And I'm guessing the 8 more world type of thing that he had going on over here would be special stages once you finally beat the game, I'm guessing, unless I misunderstood that. Overall, this is a really cool idea and concept. I would love to see this happen, as I would like to see older things return. Once again, thank you for the comment, my boy. I personally loved all these ideas, although a few may have seemed a bit crazy. I still think that these could all be possibilities for the next 3D Mario game. As for me, what do I want and what do I think would make the perfect Mario game? I love open world games. Games such as Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the Sonic Frontiers Open Zone, Red Dead Redemption 2, and others. I feel like having an open world, like fully open world, kinda similar to Odyssey, but expanded could possibly work. Let's say you have Princess Peach's castle in front of you, you could grab and ride Yoshi and travel to the other side of the map, getting collectibles and doing some challenges or missions on the way there. That could definitely be a cool little detail they could add into the game to not make it feel bland. I wasn't a huge fan of the Power Moons in Odyssey, so I feel like you having to look for them would be a huge no for me. As stated earlier, make little fun challenges, but no star collecting, please. As for the actual stages, I would like them to be similar to the Mario Galaxy games and give us different power-ups. I understand the Galaxy games are in space, but bring a little bit of that floating vibe that Mario had when he controlled to specific stages, where there could be less oxygen or gravity. Perhaps they could also bring in co-op multiplayer and make minigames as well. As for characters, I would love to play as Luigi right away, so maybe bring in others such as Wario, Waluigi, Bowser Jr., Nabbit, and a bunch more. I think this is a stretch, but can we please change up the story and not make it the same thing where Mario has to save Peach for the 50th time. I know we play for gameplay, but look at Super Mario Sunshine's story. It was unique as Mario felt like he was doing community service for a crime he didn't do, because an imposter was there. Same with the Galaxy games and even Bowser's Fury. Especially when considering the fact that Peach friend-zoned our boy, and now I guarantee you, this man ain't trying to rescue her. I would also like a skill tree kind of thing, where you can get upgrades as you progress through the game and gives you new abilities for new locations you find. All in all, to put it short and summarize it, I think if we could get a mixture of Breath of the Wild, the Galaxy games, and Odyssey, I think Nintendo could give us the best Mario game ever. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this type of video, as some of you guys took time out of your day to say what you would like to see in the next Mario game. I'm very excited to see what Nintendo has in store for us and for the Mario franchise. Although it really sucks, but us Nintendo Switch 1 owners will probably have to buy a Switch 2 soon, as the next 3D Mario game would probably be a Switch 2 exclusive, and I don't blame them, as Nintendo probably wants to bring the best out of that game and console. So hey man, if you guys could let me know in the comments down below what you guys would like to see in the next 3D Mario game, I would very much appreciate it. But overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and peace.